Ladies and gentlemen, I am SidAlpha. Firstly, I would like to apologize to my regular viewers for once again suffering delays in producing reviews for the giant slew of games that has come out at the end of October and will most likely continue right up until Christmas. Couple that with a crippling work schedule this past week, and my ability to even play games, let alone review them, has been severely hampered. Laying all that aside, I'm here to discuss a recent story which is broken in regards to games on the Windows 10 store and games that are on Steam. More pointedly, the multiplayer aspects of those games. Now, if you've followed my channel at all, then you've heard an oft-used phrase, anti-consumer. Now, consumer advocacy and awareness is a very common theme on my channel and is one of the core tenets of its founding. As such, whenever I see consumers being wronged by the gaming industry, I am understandably incensed and usually exceptionally vocal about it. And this is the case with the recent goings-on with Call of Duty Infinite Warfare and Call of Duty's remaster of Modern Warfare. And no, this is actually not about them requiring people to purchase the new Infinite Warfare in order to gain access to the Modern Warfare remaster. That is a different conversation entirely. No, it's the inexplicable decision to segregate the multiplayer components of the games based on what platform they were purchased on. Now, this is a standard between consoles and PC for very obvious reasons. However, the players that purchase the games on the Windows 10 store are not able to play with their Steam counterparts, and that's where the issues begin. What this brings to mind very quickly is the idea of exclusivity, a clear decision to limit the player bases based upon what platform they happen to be purchased. Now, I understand why companies desire more exclusivity. It takes more power away from the consumer and places it directly into the hands of the publishers. However, this is at the very core of what could be considered anti-consumer behavior on the part of the publishers. Now, exclusivity is a difficult thing to attempt on PC when compared to consoles. Consoles are very much locked into their platforms. They don't have the variety and access to third-party distribution that PC has. Not only that, PC gamers have access to not only multiple third-party distributors, but also to multiple operating systems as well. Now, all of these make it much more difficult for publishers to be able to work with distribution in order to enforce exclusive distribution, and so they are forced to seek out other means to lock gamers into specific forms of distribution. Now, why would they even want to limit themselves to a single distribution point, you might ask? Now, it would make more sense to make sure your game is released through as many distribution points as possible in order to be accessible to the largest number of consumers possible. Well, that would make a certain amount of sense to you, the consumer. That is, interestingly enough, what many publishers seek to avoid as much as possible. A wide-range distribution gives more power to the consumer by way of choice. They can choose to purchase from Steam. They can choose to purchase from GOG. They can even choose to purchase from the Windows 10 store, and these distributors all work out a deal with the publishers to purchase keys at specific rates. Now, this also takes power away from the publishers and gives power to the distributors. The larger distributors will, of course, sell more product, and naturally the publishers will want their game on that distribution site, which gives the distributors leverage to be able to work out better deals, driving down profit for the publishers and increasing profit margins for distributors. Now, if that picture were reversed, if the publishers work out deals for distribution exclusivity, it puts power and profits into the hands of the publishers. It allows them to charge exorbitant amounts to the distributors as they fight to become the source of distribution for that particular title. And we all know how that turns out. Consoles give us a window into how that world works. Microsoft and PlayStation pay vast sums of money for console exclusivity or timed exclusives, which force the consumer to be locked into one platform or another. Now, this lock on multiplayer access is an early foray into that form of distribution exclusivity on PC. We will see continuations of this and a gradual tightening of the strings, taking the most important power one can have away from the consumer, the power of choice. Now, this fundamental capability for PC gamers to have a wide selection of distribution is a powerful tool that helps keep the greed and duplicity of the gaming publishers in check. And given Microsoft's significant push to put games onto the Windows 10 store, one can imagine that some form of deal might have been struck with Activision for this limitation. Only as with so many other attempts Microsoft has made to lock PC gamers into the Windows store, this one is beginning to backfire. The exceptionally small number of gamers that bought the game on the Windows Store are now feeling the effect of Activision and Microsoft's decision to limit that experience. Sporting absolutely anorexic numbers, people are having difficulty finding other players for multiplayer matches. One such gamer even got a refund from Microsoft for not having the capability of even finding a single match due to the lack of active players. Now, this is the first steps of distribution exclusivity. This is what the publishers want. This is a removal of the rights and freedoms of the consumer, not in leaps and bounds, but little by little. Now, if this is allowed to continue, PC gaming will be as restricted as consoles. The last bastions of freedom for gaming shall be brought down bit by bit until the publishers will be able to charge whatever they want for whatever drivel they decide to put out, and people will buy them. The publishers will do what they can to create an unenlightened and uninformed consumer base with little to no choice. This is their dream. Distribution exclusivity filled with pre-orders, season passes, microtransactions, and day one DLC. This is their holy grail of gaming culture. Now, many will fight against this, but will it be enough? Doubtful. The publishers that decide this is how they want their business model to be will do so not in sudden bursts, but slowly, weathering the backlash until it becomes normal and ingrained, much like so many other things are now. Buggy and broken at launch is now the standard, not the exception. Microtransactions and ridiculously priced season passes are quickly becoming the norm. Now, we can push back by refusing to purchase their products on these platforms that espouse exclusivity, but will it be enough? We can refuse to pre-order games and wait for reviewers to do their jobs. But can we be patient enough? We can refuse to spend money on microtransactions, but will enough people do it? Historically speaking, the answer to all those questions would be a qualitative no. And that is why they are quickly becoming normative in the gaming industry. Because it works. Because they make money doing it. The only way to get them to stop is to get enough of the community to speak with their wallets to make it no longer cost effective. Can that ever be done? I honestly have no idea. But everyone can do their part and stand against anti-consumer decisions like these. It may not stop the gears of greed, but it might slow them down just a little bit. And that, at least, is a start. Now, as always, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. If you are new here, please show your support by subscribing and sharing. Once again, I am SidAlpha, and I will see you next time.